How to change your engine oil. 2024 Toyota Corolla LE. And here are the following tools and parts you need. Car ramps, wheel chocks, leather gloves, latex gloves, 14mm box wrench, Phillips screwdriver, a funnel, rags, or you could use old rags, and an oil pan, and a cardboard. Now for the parts, refer to your owner's manual. The owner's manual requires that you put in 4.4 quarts of oil, but from my experience, I always end up putting in 5 quarts. You'll see why later. All right, let's do a status check. As you can see, it has 40,000 miles on it. And let's check the condition of the oil. The engine is warm because I used it 20 minutes ago. So let's check the oil status right now. The oil still looks clean. It's dark golden honey and it's still full. You got to make sure that each tire is inside the ramp. You got to double check. If you have to squat, go squat. You got to visually inspect this. It's important that the tires are inside the ramp so it doesn't fall off or your car doesn't fall off. Now I'm inside the car. My left foot is on the brake and my right foot is on the accelerator. What I'm going to try to do is step on the gas just a little bit and let go of the brake. And what I'm trying to do is slowly creep up on the incline. As your car is climbing over the incline, it will go forward very slowly. But once it hits the flat spot or the horizontal part of the ramp, you will notice that the car will start moving forward. And immediately you got to pay attention. You got to be on guard. As soon as you notice that there's a difference of speed, that it increased the speed, meaning it's moving forward faster than as it was inclining, immediately step on the brake and let go of the gas at the same time. And then slowly let the brake go. Now, if you're not on the flat spot of the ramp, it will roll back down. But if you are on the flat spot of the ramp, then it's not going to move anywhere. And at that point, go ahead and put it in park, put the handbrake, get out of the car, and inspect visually. You need to see where the tire is at. And make sure you're on the flat spot. And if you are on the flat spot, if you need to make an adjustment to go a little bit forward, be easy on this one. Just step on the gas just a little bit if you need to go forward. Or if you are right on the flat spot and then you're hitting against the stop, then settle down with this, put it on park, put it on parking brake on, shut off the engine, and you're good. Make sure you double check everything underneath, that the tire is butt up against the stop. On both tires, it has to be the same, equally. So both tires have to be butt up against the stop of the wheel ramp before you do anything else. Well, it looks good right now. So let's go ahead and secure the car by placing both wheel chocks, as you can see here. Before you do anything, make sure it is on park and parking brake is applied. Now this one comes from experience. You don't want to start the engine without the oil. So you want to place the key where it ensures you and remind you to put oil in before you'll start the car. There is a plastic cover that covers the oil pan and the oil filter. There's 4 screws and you need a Phillips screwdriver. With the plastic skid plate removed, this is how it looks like. This is the oil pan. There's the oil filter to the top left, and that's the oil drain plug I just pointed at. This is the oil pan. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to use this to catch the oil from the car. Since I'm the one who installed this filter 10,000 miles ago, I didn't over tighten it. I tightened it so that it won't leak. It's a snug fit and it's hand tightened. I didn't use a tool to tighten it. So with my gloves, my leather gloves, I'm able to loosen it up and remove it. I want to be careful not to kink or put a crease or destroy my oil filter. I need to remove it carefully and then compare it with the new oil filter that I got. I gotta make sure that they are the same. You notice I changed glove, so I'm using the latex because I know I'm gonna make contact with the oil and I don't want oil all over my hand. The oil filter on the left is the old one. The one on the right is the brand new one. And I'm gonna compare the size. I'm gonna compare the model. I gotta make sure it's the same oil filter. Let's remove the drain plug using the 14 millimeter box wrench. Now with this box wrench, you gotta be careful not to strip that bolt. Go lefty-loosey, counterclockwise. Normally I'll have both hands to remove this bolt, but since I'm using the camera, I only have one hand. So I'm gonna go really slow. Most of the time, when I'm removing the bolt, I end up dropping the bolt along with the washer inside the oil pan on the bottom, because it's gonna be warm. I know. Here we go. See, I'm pulling back. I'm kind of hesitant, or apprehensive. I mean, and see, I'm opening it really slowly. There's a washer in there. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that's hot. But anyways, look at that oil, golden honey. Now it's pouring really fast. I don't want that oil to overflow. So to relieve this, to mitigate this problem, what I do is I open up the cap to let more air in so that the oil pan does not overflow, or the oil will not overflow. And then when the oil is almost done draining, I'll go ahead and replace back the cover. So in that oil pan, I will find a bolt and I will find also the washer. I'm doing a visual inspection. I gotta make sure that the drain bolt has the flat washer. And of course, I already wiped it and cleaned it. And then also on the oil filter, I gotta make sure that the gasket is on there and it's not left behind. Okay, I gotta make sure those are intact. Looking at the drain pan where the bolt goes, where the oil is dripping, I gotta visually inspect and make sure that there is no other washer there. No washer, wipe it down and do a visual inspection. And then I'll go ahead and put the drain plug back. Hand tight, of course. Then I'm gonna finish it off with the 14 millimeter. And I'm just gonna tighten it and snug it. You don't wanna over tighten this thing. Just a snug. So I'm gonna use different angle to show you how I'm holding the wrench. Notice I'm not holding at the end of the wrench. I don't wanna hold it at the end of the wrench. One is I'll have too much torque, and two, I can strip the bolt. So I'm holding the wrench closer to the bolt. And I'm just gonna snug. You're just gonna do that snug. You gotta be comfortable and give it that snug. You'll feel it. See, you notice I'm just pulling on it. Remember, you're gonna wanna go. You wanna go clockwise to tighten it. Righty tighty, and that's how you tighten it. Yeah, it feels good right there. That feels tight. Then wipe it down again. Yeah, that's it. That feels really great. This is where the oil filter goes. So of course we gotta wipe it down. Make sure there's no gasket left behind. We gotta wipe that down before we put the new oil filter. All right, let's go get the oil filter. I'm doing a visual inspection. I want to make sure there's no hole, there's no scrape, there's no nicks. Got to make sure that filter is good. And then what I'm going to do is from the oil, the brand new oil, I put a cap full or half a cap full, and I just put it in there, and then I wipe down the gasket so that when I'm tightening up the gas or the oil filter in the oil filter mount is gonna seal better. I'm not gonna put any oil in there because the oil filter is sideways. There you go, right there, guys. See, it's just already dripping. I don't even put any oil. See, I only put oil on the gasket, rubber gasket. So this one, I'm not gonna use a tool. I don't wanna put any kink or crease or dent on that K&N filter. That's the oil filter. I don't want to destroy it. So I'm wiping my hand right now. Normally I use two hands, but I'm wiping my hand, wiping the oil filter so that I can get a better grip, because I'm gonna go clockwise, a little bit more. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Just wiping it down so I can get a better grip. And I'm also wiping my hands down. There you go. I'm gonna try to tighten it. Yeah, baby. You just want to tighten it. You'll feel it. You know, it's making contact. You don't want to over tighten it, because when you change oil, you can have a big problem. I've done several oil filter where I couldn't even take it off, even with a tool. Right there, just ever so slightly. Oh, you know, it feels good. There you go, right there, baby. Yeah, you'll know it. That feels good. Yeah, now I'm just gonna wipe it down. Where's my rag at? And that's the drain plug right there. So you know where the drain plug and the oil filter, where they're laid out. So I'm just gonna wipe it down, wipe the oil plug. Yeah, that felt good. So I'm gonna ensure the funnel is clean before I use it to put oil. Now, according to the owner's manual, I need 4 quarts and 0.4. So I'm gonna use the first four and then half on the last one. On the fifth bottle or the fifth quart, I'm just gonna go half. So that would give me 4.5. Go ahead and open up the oil cap. Normally it's closer to the belt. And make sure you put the funnel so you don't spill oil. I'm gonna put 4 quarts, and then on the fifth one, I'm just gonna put half. The owner's manual says if you're changing the oil plus the filter, you need to put in 4.4 of oil. Okay, I'm down to my last quart. I'm gonna go half. This is the half mark. Okay, I need a little bit more. That's about half right there. I'm just showing you it's kind of level. Now that's half right there, right in the middle. At this point, I want to double check my work. I want to make sure the oil cap is back on, the dipstick is back in, and I have put 4.5 quart of oil. And then on the bottom, I mentally double check that I have the oil filter and the drain plug in there, and they're both tight. I'm gonna remove the wheel chocks because I'm gonna reverse or push the car backwards without starting it. I don't want to start the engine because I want to check the oil level before I start the engine. Before I can mess with the key, I gotta ask myself, did I put engine oil? If the answer is yes, then I'm confident that I can mess with the key. I'm gonna turn the key forward just so I can see all the lights, but I'm not gonna start the engine. Step on the brake, put it on neutral, take off the parking brake, of course, and then I'm gonna stick my left foot out, and I'm gonna push so that the car rolls down. And of course, I have my right foot so I can stop the car if I need to. Here we go. I'm rocking it back and forth. Now it's rolling, and that's pretty easy. Okay, now it's on the ground. Now the car is flat. Parking brake on, transmission back on park. Now that the car is flat, I'm gonna check the oil level. The oil looks full. It's up to the top dot. So the oil is full with 4.5 quart of oil. Now, mind you, I haven't started the car yet. So now I'm gonna start the car, but I asked myself, did I put oil in the engine? If the answer is yes, then I can start it up. 2 things I do when I start the car. I look for an oil light or low oil pressure light, and also listen I'm listening for some odd sound coming from the engine. Now, if one of those are present, the oil light, or I can hear engine noise that is not normal, I will immediately shut off the engine. Let's check for leaks while the engine is running. Great, there is no oil leak. Let me check here if there's anything else I can see, oil leaks or anything abnormal. You can't overdo visual inspection. Okay, I'm gonna go back inside the car. I'm gonna look for an oil light. If there's no oil light, it appears to be normal. Now I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the engine. I did a good job today. I feel good about myself. Let's double check the oil level. And like I told you this morning or earlier, I always end up using 5 quarts. Here I'm gonna prove to you that the oil dipstick, it will indicate that it's only half. I'll show you. It's on the dipstick between the top dot and the bottom dot. It's gonna be right in the middle. See right there, you can see it's half. If the oil level is in between the top and the bottom, and that's the half, that means you need half quart more. And that's what I have exactly here, a half a quart. And this should do the job. So I always end up using 5 quarts. This is the half quart I'm talking about. That's it right there, half a quart, and this should finish the job. Let's wipe the dipstick. And then I'm gonna check the oil level one more time. And it should be at the full level. And we'll call it good. Right there, it's on the full line. I was right. Last final check. Caps on, dipstick is in, and no leaks. I gotta do all this mental checks. Gotta make sure I did it right. This 2024 Toyota Corolla, it doesn't have an oil lamp or light on the dash. But if you do have a low oil pressure or no oil, you'll get this one right in the middle of the dashboard. If you get that, you shut off your engine right away. Everything looks normal. I did a good job. I feel good. I'm gonna do one more final check.